So welcome everybody. Pleasure to have you at the Crick to this forum around open research. Thank you to Frank and Kathy for organising the discussion and putting together the agenda. So I thought I'd spend 5 minutes to tell you about the Crick, because most of you are not from the Crick. We are Biomedical Research Institute, a multidisciplinary institute, and our CEO is Paul Nurse. Our mission is really to play a national role in supporting the UK science, and we are a partnership between funders and other research institutions. So we are a partnership between Cancer Research UK, the Medical Research Councils, Wellcome Trust, and UCL, Imperial, and King. And the Institute has 5 strategic pillars. The first one is around discoveries without boundaries, and this is about no boundaries between disciplines, between research and translation, between institute, between academia and industry. The second one is about developing future science leader, and it's really around enabling early career researchers to develop ambitious research program, giving them core funding for 6 years, then possibly renewing it, and then let them, take their research somewhere else. The third one is about collaborative creatively to advance UK science and innovation. The fourth strategic pillar is around accelerate translation for health and wealth, which is what I'm accountable for. And the last one is around inspiring the public. So what is special about the Crick is a few things I want to mention. It's the size and the ambition that we have. There is about 1,300 scientists here with a broad research agenda. There is a critical mass spanning the biomedical disciplines. There is a long-term support with the core funding I mentioned, and the career structure to be able to have that continuous renewal in the research we do here. State-of-the-art building, you've seen, it's absolutely amazing to do research here. And it was also built to encourage interactions between researchers, but also between collaborators who come here and do research with us here. It's a dynamic partnership which increased the opportunity for multidisciplinary research with the universities, hospitals, other institutes, and industry. And of course, innovation and translation is integrated in the strategy and in our ambition. And that's really important because translation is not siloed. It takes place as a natural continuity with the research we do here. So what's critical for our translation and innovation is the close proximity of industry and clinicians, clinical insight, with our discovery researchers. And open science, which is the topic of tonight, is really critical for that. It's critical because it blurs the boundaries between different labours, for example, between researchers and applied scientists in industry. And we've been developing since we've formed, which was in 2015, the Crick was formed. We've been developing pioneering open science partnership one with GSK in 2015 and the other one with AZ in 2017. And what those partnerships do is they harness the biology, the disease expertise, the curiosity-driven science, the technology that we use to understand the underlying biology of disease with discovery platforms that are in industry, disease knowledge that is in industry with the clinical development, but also the drug discovery expertise. This is about pharmaceutical example. And the benefit that everybody gets from these open science partnership. It's really around the science, you know, the science we're able to unravel together, how we share knowledge and advance knowledge, how we publish that knowledge, and also how we develop our own talents. So not only, oh, I have 1 minute, not only, I was going to tell you all about what we do, but no, 1 minute. So I think the talent is also important, and how, you know, this offers opportunities for postdocs, early career group leaders to develop their skills and their talent and spend time in different environments, but also for our industrial colleagues to spend time here and also develop their, you know, talents they have in their companies to be able to do some research and understand how to ask certain questions and do certain experiments. So typically, those projects spans from target validation, target identification, crystallography, technologies, you name it. It spans across the breadth of activities we have at the Crick. But most importantly, I think that's what I was mentioning, open science is about creating more porous system where evidence and data are generated together, where it's disseminated either through publication or public repository, and it's a way to create a talented task force to be able to do better translation. Because of course, when you mix those different disciplines and different, you know, background of knowledge, you increase the awareness of a possibility to do translation, and then you have a way to accelerate how this translation is done. So without any more time spent on the Crick, I'm going to introduce our first speaker, who is Jenny Molly. So Jenny is a Shuttleworth Foundation Research Fellow in Cambridge. She is studying the role and impact of open approaches to intellectual property for sustainable and equitable bioeconomy, especially in low-resource context. She's a founding director of 2 non-profit organizations, Contents Mine and Biomake Space. And she's also organized international gathering around open science hardware. And she's going to talk to us about open science and the future of bioeconomy.